What's going on, everybody? We are the Bard on Beauties podcast, releasing new hockey episodes each and every week wherever you listen to your podcast. Also on YouTube, I'm Jesse Pierce, writer for NHL.com, Wild.com, whoever will hire me to write and talk sports and other things, tell good stories, all of that. She's Kirsten Kroll, in arena host for your Minnesota Wild. What's up, Glenn Andreessen? Minnesota hockey in the house, as always, celebrating 75 years. That's what we're doing here. Joining us now, Mr. Henry Lake of WCCO fame. Henry, what's going on, man?
I'm happy to be here, and I'm honored that you guys are having me on your podcast because it's the first time for me, and I feel like I'm a beauty now.
You are.
I mean, technically, I'm a Bard on Beauty, host. I mean, not host, but guest.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Official beauty is what we'd call you.
Official beauty? Is that what they call me?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Which is also a hockey term. See,
okay.
we're learning things, Lake.
I'm learning too.
Yes.
So I'm learning from you.
Exactly. Your first time at the Expo. I know it's been brief thus far. What do you think? I mean, kind of wild, right?
So this is like, I love this. And it's unique in that there's so many different vendors, and it's not like it's just specifically like, I mean, it's about hockey, but it's about more than just hockey, right? Because like going back in my day, when I was a kid, I used to like collect cards and stuff like that or whatever. And like, I'm looking right over there at those vendors, and they have like jerseys up, and they have like cards out on. So now I'm feeling like the nostalgia of being at like Schindler's. You probably don't even know what Schindler's is.
Don't even know what that is.
Oh my gosh, it's a store that was around like back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, whatever, where everybody would go. It's a bookstore.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So
and they had
you're just a baby.
She
She keeps saying I'm old. No, I am old. I am officially old. I have gray. You have none.
Oh, it's just hidden beneath this hat, beneath this blonde. Like, the Matamidi Zephyrs won, which is the most important game of the day, so we're all excited about that. But just in general, from your perspective, and I know you're more on the basketball side, you're going to the Wolves tonight, you get to cover a lot of that, but high school hockey, there's nothing like it outside of Minnesota.
Yeah, it's crazy because the only time, and I was invited to be a part of going to the games yesterday. I couldn't make it. Vanita Sakar, she's massively into hockey,
love
right?
Vanita.
You know, Miss Goalie. And so I couldn't make it over to the games yesterday. But I once snuck in many years ago at the old arena and took in Hill Murray. That just seemed to be, as a kid, I kind of like adopted them as like, because they were just good. I was like, I want to support them. And so one night, me and my friends, we made it over to the tournament, but that's the only time I've ever been to the tournament in all my years. But, the thing that I love about hockey in this state is that we embrace it, and we pound our chest and we say that we are the state of hockey. Like, that's what we love. We enjoy using that phrase, and we have that belief about us. Whether the Wild is good or not, or the Gophers or any college hockey team is good or not here in our state, we just embrace that we're the state of hockey, and we're not going to let anybody take that away from us.
No, that's definitely awesome. And as you were talking, I have a Hill Murray story myself as of last night, actually. The one thing I don't like about Hill Murray is their colors way too close to the University of North Dakota. We don't like that, so sorry, guys. But the thing we do like, I had a Hill Murray fan open the door for me and hold it. Ooh. A simple gesture, but there are good people over there. So I think we like Hill Murray. Jesse, can you confirm?
Yes, I have very deep connections to Hill Murray. My father was a Hill Murray grad. My family over here who's out supporting Hill Murray people. So I grew up only knowing Hill Murray hockey. You know Queen's We Will Rock You? So they played that at the Pioneers games, right, or any hockey game. But for whatever reason, I thought that was just a Hill Murray song. And then We Are the Champions also thought that was only a Hill Murray song. So when I would hear it outside, I was like, they're playing the Hill Murray Pioneer song, which killed my mom, an International Falls Bronco. She's like, that is not Hill Murray's song. That's a general hockey song.
Yep.
But no, I have so many memories of going to watch the Pioneers play White Bear Lake very often at the Coliseum. I'm now a White Bear Lake resident.
How the turntables.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing about hockey is that, like, with us, this being the state of hockey, is that, like, you take that wherever you go, right? Because hockey's not played everywhere, from coast to coast. It's just not. So, like, going back to when I was hosting middays in Kansas City, I was in Kansas City from 2013 to 18 before I came back home and got on WCCO, because prior to Kansas City, I was a K fan for all those years. That's where I got my start. And so when I was in Kansas City doesn't have a professional hockey team. And knowing that some of the other guys that were on my station, our drive time guy was from Chicago, so of course he's a Blackhawks fan.
Of course.
My co-host, he was from Kansas City, but he was a fan or is a fan of the St. Louis Blues. So during the years that I was there, whenever we would match up with those teams, we're making wagers, we're making bets, and we're talking about stuff in the postseason. And of course, every time I kept losing. But I was proud to support my team.
You got it. Fred
We love that.
back here cheering on the St. Louis Blues reference. He's a St. Louis Blues fan. How's that working out for you this year,
man,
Fred?
I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't.
Yes.
Great.
I
That
feel
was
bad.
a good chirp.
I feel bad for us because of Kirill and the injury.
Yeah, what do you make? So we had Dane Mizutani on. He was at practice like a
Love
good
Dane.
reporter. Love us some Dane. Seriously, go follow Dane. He is funny. He has an arch nemesis in the Dance Man at the XL Energy Center, which is probably my favorite rivalry of all time.
That is hilarious.
It is hilarious. No better nemesis than the man that dances and throws T-shirts at people. But no, Dane had told us that 3 to 4 weeks. And the Minnesota Wild obviously told us, and Dane said it's probably so I stop asking Dean when Kirill will be back.
Yep.
How do you think that's really going to impact the Minnesota Wild now as they close out the regular season?
Well, I mean, first off, he's the most talented guy that you have on your hockey team. His scoring ability is just remarkable. Just being able to be a playmaker, right? Like on the ice is just it's so infectious. But I think the thing that beyond just the on the ice thing, I think it impacts us as fans too so much. And the reason why I say that is because I think that right now they've been playing as good as they've been playing in quite some time this season, right? So without him being there, you know how it impacts us as fans is that our confidence level is probably scaled down dramatically because now we're bummed out. Like emotionally, I think we're in our feels, and we should be in our feelings because he's not going to be around for the next 3 to 4 weeks. It's almost like when you look at the NBA, and if you're a Lakers fan, you're like, yeah, I'm happy that Anthony Davis is finally playing, but we know that he's like one sprained ankle away from not being available for the rest of the season, and no
Or
LeBron James.
Can we bring it home? Cat's injury. Is it
Cat
similar to that, right? I mean,
Well,
Cat's is a little bit more severe from what I'm understanding, again, from the outside.
Kirill means more to the Wild than Cat means to the Wolves.
True.
Because Anthony Edwards is the guy that's the new face of the franchise. So I like to have Cat is one thing, but you got Ant, and like everybody loves Ant. Ant's a first-time All-Star. Kirill was the only player from our organization this year to make the NHL All-Star game.
For sure. I think another way to put it, too, is just even from a fan perspective, not only because you are so heavily rooting for your team, you want to see them make a deep run, win that championship year in, year out, but just even for like a typical regular season game. I had somebody tweet at me yesterday about Kirill being out there. Like, I'm going to my very first Wild game ever. I wanted to see Kirill play. Now I don't get to. So just, that kind of moment's taken away as well, and especially too, like from the NBA aspect, like if you're going to your first game, seeing LeBron, like with him out right now, so it's tough from the fan point too.
Yeah, it's an absolute buzzkill for hockey fans, for Wild fans, but hopefully we can mesh and play well without him. But definitely, you have to think that the chemistry's got to be a little bit discombobulated right now.
I mean, a little bit. I think Dane had some really good points today saying, actually, the room was pretty jovial. I mean, they've been winning games. They're stringing together this point streak at the exact right time when they need to, right? I mean, Minnesota continues to go through this January swoon of awful play for whatever reason that carries over into February. So I think that's good. But also, it's, again, an opportunity for Minnesota to prove to themselves that there is a secondary scoring. It's not just on Kirill Kaprizov, and it shouldn't be, because I imagine for a player like Kaprizov, yes, you signed the big money, yes, you have the contract, and yes, you have the skills and everything that you need to be the superstar that you are. However, you literally are never going to win a championship on your own. And hockey especially is that thing. So I think it will be maybe a good thing to get some of these other guys going, knowing that they need to get these points. They need to start finding the back of the net. Matt Zuccarello needs to start shooting, not just looking for Kirill down the line. Like, it might be a good thing. Again, and I hate to say that because, of course, losing Kirill Kaprizov to anything is not a good thing. However, if I could find any little silver lining, it might be that.
Well, I think that, like, when it was revealed that he was going to miss this amount of time, right? Because everybody, like, after it happened, right, exiting that win against Winnipeg, you're like, you're holding your breath. You're like, you're crossing your fingers. You're like, hopefully it looked worse than what it actually is, right?
Right.
You're like, maybe this will be like, he'll miss a couple of games and then we'll be right back. I had that feeling of, why can't we have nice things in Minnesota? That was just the way that I felt.
True.
I'm so dead serious because I remember like a couple of nights ago, I had mentioned that when I think about the Mount Rushmore of sports guys right now, of the young individuals, Kirill's there because he's right there with Justin Jefferson from the Vikings. He's right there with Anthony Edwards of the Timberwolves, and then Buxton's kind of our guy with the Minnesota Twins.
Yep. Yeah.
But to take one of
For
those
now,
guys,
because the Twins will do their thing and just kind of.
Twins are going to be. I'm telling you, Twins are going to be. They're going to be good this year.
I'm holding you to
Wow.
that. We're going to circle back around, cut the clip. We're
Lies.
holding you to that.
They're going to be good this year.
Where's your level of good? Like, what does that mean to you?
Oh, I think they win the division. I think they win the division.
Is that because
I
the Twins are just that good, or the division as a whole
I
is
think that
kind of
the-
like meh?
I think it's both. So Chicago lost Jorge Abreu, who was their best player. He goes to the Houston Astros. Like, that's a pretty significant. That's a former MVP that leaves Chicago. So the White Sox, they're dead in the water. The Royals, they're not ready for prime time. They've got still a young team, young organization, new manager. Cleveland, I think that the Guardians come back a little bit to the pack. I think they overachieved a little bit, but I think that the Twins are going to be much more improved with their pitching this year. There was some bad luck that they had last year with the injuries. I'm not going to say it was just because of the injuries, but I think that I think their pitching is going to be better.
Wash, rinse, repeat with the pitching situation, though, shall we? Like, let's be honest there. I'm not even a big
And with
baseball guy.
Lewis, we're waiting to see what he's capable of. And
Royce
correct
Lewis?
me if I'm wrong. Like, spring training he's down and out right now.
Yeah, Lewis, they just last week, I think they placed him on the 60-day injured list. So, but we weren't anticipating that Royce Lewis was going to be a factor at
Okay.
all anyway. You've got Correa. They have a ton of infield, talent prospects. So I think that was one of the reasons why they looked to move Luis Arraez. And you get Pablo Lopez, who's the new pitcher, who I think is going to be pretty darn good. You get Kenta Maeda back. I think we're going to be better. But, maybe that's just my Minnesota Twins bias.
You said a lot of words.
I want to do fun.
that
I
are
wanna,
names
I
that
want,
I don't know. It'd
I
be
want,
like me
I want to
just
do fun
dropping-
post games this year, right? Like, I don't want to be at Target Field late night in the booth, and I'm sitting there like, okay, we lost another one.
Like, the names that you just dropped are me, like, dropping names like Nestorenko.
You
and,
know a
like-
lot of names, though. You know
Aye,
Max
let's-
Kepler. You know
Well,
Byron
yeah,
Buxton.
you
You know
know.
some of the guys.
Yeah, the other ones I got.
I mean, you're
got
just mad that
nothing.
Miguel Sano is not going to be striking out this year.
Yeah,
Love
no,
Miguel
you-
Sano.
Yeah. There you
I
go.
loved Miguel Sano from the beginning. I stood up for him through and through. I still stand by it. I still am a Miguel Sano fan.
Do you have a jersey?
Not of him.
Okay.
My most recent jersey is a Michael Kadire jersey.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, my
So
Good.
I need
husband
to
would hate you
update
for
that,
Cuddy.
but I do. Kadire is my most recent Twins jersey.
You
I
want-
really try to not get super invested, but I always.
I have a Torrey Hunter jersey, which is
That's
one of my
respectful.
favorite.
What
But
do you
it
mean you
is
like it?
Hold on.
signed.
Did you hear what she just said? I try not to get super invested.
No, in buying a jersey because there's
I
so
got
much.
you.
Not so much in the Twins because I do get
Okay,
invested in
okay.
the
You
Twins.
guys didn't
But as
let-
far
I
as
thought you meant
players,
from a fandom.
there's
Okay,
been
okay.
turnover. So it's like I'm investing money in a jersey and then they just end up leaving me. Like Robbie Grossman loved Grossman. He left.
Yeah, I
Everyone
get you.
leaves me. Everything I love leaves me.
I got you. When you're talking about the fandom, I thought you meant in terms of like in terms of the jersey. I thought you meant in terms of like fandom. Like we can sit here and we can say like as media members and stuff like that we're not invested. That's a lie.
It is a lie.
Because I am invested. Like when I go to
You should be.
When I go to Target Field, I want the Twins to win. When I go to Target Center tonight, and then I have to do a post game show from the Skyway at Target's, I want the Timberwolves to
I get
to
paid
win.
more when the Wild win.
You know, so that's
yeah.
that's just how it is. People can say don't have a bias, but that's just not true. Like the only media member that I've ever known that could get away with openly rooting for teams here in a press box
Say it.
was Sid.
Oh, yeah.
Like Sid Hartman, he was the only.
Yeah.
And it's Sid. Like
He paved his way.
who's
He
gonna
could do whatever
of
he
course,
wanted.
He's a legend. Like
He
who's
ran
Gonna,
Minneapolis.
you're not going to say
But
anything to Sid.
Rosie could get away with it.
Rosie wouldn't do it though. It's the journalist in him. He's just not going
That's
to do
true.
it.
That's true. No, I didn't get to finish my Torii Hunter jersey.
We're back to this.
Wait, ready? Because
Yes.
I've made it better. It's signed by Lou Ford.
What?
What?
Because you're not going to not get Lou Ford's autograph, right?
Can you imagine being Lou Ford? Here's my Torii Hunter jersey. Can you sign this for me?
That's all I had.
What is that about?
I don't ask. Baseball and me are not exactly.
You ever
the
come
best
across
of
Torii Hunter
friends.
again? Just tell him to bring you some barbecue.
I will apologize.
Like he's got like this banging like barbecue chain in Texas now. I think he's got like a couple of restaurants just like.
Can you
doing
connect
really well.
us? This sounds
Yeah.
so good.
Lake has all the connections.
The next
he
time
just doesn't
the
share.
next time I come across him, he's kind of a big deal. He's kind of hard. I mean,
That's to put it lightly.
No
he
kidding.
is a big deal.
he is a big deal.
Yeah.
So I mean, I probably only see him or get a chance to talk to him twice a year.
Okay.
And he didn't come up to Twins Fest this year.
Twice a year he talks to Torii Hunter. Just
But
no
but
big
it's like
deal.
in person here. I don't have like his cell phone number.
Well, not yet.
I mean, I could
Working
get it,
on
but
You could,
Yeah, I could get it.
exactly. See, kind of a big deal. He's Henry Lake of WCCO and the Lake Show. We are the Bar Down Beauties, bringing you hockey podcasts, hockey talk, each and every Monday on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcasts. I'm Jesse Pierce, writing for NHL.com, Wild.com. She's Kirsten Kroll, in-arena host for your Minnesota Wild. But we also dabble in other sports, as
Like the
just
Twins,
shown.
clearly.
Clearly,
We love it.
Lake and Kirsten are going to start their own show produced by New Voice Studios about the Twins because I feel like there was something.
Let's do
there.
it.
I think I like it. I like where it was going.
I like the energy.
right?
I like your energy. Can
Uh,
we say that? You came
Yeah.
in and just your vibe, your aura, fantastic.
I appreciate
I need
that.
to say that.
Thanks, I
Yes.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, I got good energy today because once I leave you guys, I'm going down to Target Center, cover the Wolves, and I feel like a lot of people in the Metro and in the state are a little bit bummed out today because Adam Thielen,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
yes.
released. That's like the big news of the day, and it was a great run.
Did he
but it was
go to
time.
college here? Did you hear that?
I don't know.
I
Did
thought
he?
I heard Minnesota State,
Think
but
he's-
can we
Oh.
confirm that?
Oh,
Can
I
we
thought he was
confirm?
like
Adam
UCLA or
Hey,
something.
we got a Vikings fan in the crowd. Adam Thielen, did he go to college in Minnesota? He didn't. I didn't think so. It's wild, you guys. It is
He went to Ohio State.
wild.
He went to the U.
Yeah, you know,
the
it's-
Ohio State.
I said that one time on our Vikings podcast, and people thought I was for real, and I was like, "No, it's like a little bit." I thought that was a bit that
I
I
heard he
do.
was a walk-on, too.
Yeah, I don't think he even
Really?
Went,
That
I
guy?
didn't think he was drafted.
Really?
Fascinating.
$500 scholarship? Man.
story. Shout out to Adam Thielen.
But it is
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's a bummer. But like the Vikings put themselves in a spot where they got to make a lot of changes, and it's the business side. Like that's the part right that you have to deal with is the business side of it. I remember so the very first time that because I love all sports, right, and everybody knows that the sport that I built my reputation on was basketball. High school recruiting, college basketball, NBA basketball. I'm a former. Back in 1998, I was intern for the Timberwolves and basketball community relations, and that led me to K-Fan and all of that. So basketball's always been my passion. Then after that, you go football, you go baseball, then you go hockey. But I remember going back to, and this is one of the more notable shows that I've ever done, was the day that the news broke, okay, on July the 4th, that Suter and Parisi were coming to Minnesota. I was on the air. And so it became basically like a 5-hour wall-to-wall hockey show.
Right.
And now, but hold on. I can't go 5 hours talking hockey.
Did
But
you
you know-
understand the gravity of what those signings meant? I mean, were you
Absolutely.
aware? Not
Absolutely.
to like downplay, but like
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
If
knew.
we didn't
I
in
knew-
the moment, we sure do now
no,
because
I
we're
knew-
still paying for it.
I knew, and I was hoping and praying like everybody else, but there was a part of me that was like, "It's not going to happen. Like,
Right,
we're not
same.
we're not going to get these guys."
Not one. I didn't even think you'd get
maybe
one.
we get Zach, but we won't
Yeah.
get both, right?
Right.
And then when it happened, I remember Chad Abbott's like, "Okay, this is the show," and I was like, "Duh, yeah, this is the show." And so literally, I was supposed to go like. I was supposed to do like 3 hours. I ended up doing 5. And it was one of those deals where it was like, get whoever on the show. Get
Yeah.
Pat Micheletti on the show. Get this part. It was like,
If only you knew a young,
see?
vibrant, up and coming hockey reporter like Jesse Pierce was back. Actually, no, I was hungover up north near the border of Canada because I was like 23 and a half maybe or whatever.
So
But I
that's
remember,
for the best.
Yeah,
that
it was.
made for great
I remember
radio,
waking
though.
up though and being like, "Oh my gosh, it actually happened!" Like I was still trying to navigate my way into that world, and
She
I
was
was like,
still
"Wow,
getting sober.
still getting." I
still remember that. That
Yeah.
was like
on
was
4th of July of all days.
on the 4th of July. I know.
4th of
That's what I'm
July.
saying. I'm sitting there and I'm like, whoa, this is like. And then it was like I want to say like hour 4 of it. Like we had people trickle into the station because they were so excited.
Yeah. I mean, it's a holiday. It was a reason to celebrate. It was unreal. And, I think people have their opinions, obviously, on the parting of ways with Parisi and Suter. And, yes, it was what was best for the organization.
Yep.
And people have maybe some negative connotation with Zach Parisi and Ryan Suter. But you cannot tell me that in that moment you were not excited about the prospect. Everybody loved the idea of 13 years. Yes, these are, nearby guys. They know what it's all about here. They're going to bring the excitement. And they did. I mean, you talk about the excitement that Kirill Kaprizov brings to this organization, not just for his on-ice play, but just the superstar. That's what Parisi and Suter first did. They were the first 2 players outside of Marian Gaborik to really do that for this team, to bring that name. Marc-Andre Fleury, another one that now has done that. I mean, again, feel how you feel about the partying and how everything ended, but it was a fantastic day. Shout out to Ty Lecheski, Matamidi Zephyrs, go Zephyrs, family, and Sid Lecheski as well. Just absolutely phenomenal that day, that moment in history.
But the reason why I brought that up, though, is we're talking about the business side of things. Like when Bill Guerin made the decisions, like, this is just part of the business. That's the business today with the Vikings and Adam Thielen having to leave. I mean, Eric Kendricks, phenomenal player a couple days ago. They have to make a lot of changes.
Final question I have for you, Lake, and because you know all sports across the board, it feels like there's a lot of similarities amongst all the organizations in Minnesota right now. You have these young up-and-coming superstars for the Timberwolves and Ant, and for Minnesota with Kirill Kaprizov, Justin Jefferson at the Vikings, right? I mean, those 3 big – I'm not going to do the Twins. I don't know enough, you guys. I apologize.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But you look at that, but then they're also kind of in a similar spot at where they are as an organization, trying to not necessarily full-on rebuild, but each team has to make these tweaks to be truly contenders. I mean, is that a fair assessment, do you think, from the outside looking in?
I would say it's an absolutely fair assessment, and I think that right now you're in a situation where of the teams that you mentioned, which team is going to claim that spot as the team that's going to take the next step? And I don't think that anybody really knows that. Like
it's the Wild.
The team that whoever it may be, I'm fine with that, but like I think that most people will look at it and they'll say that the default is the Vikings because people are always going to default to the Vikings. That's just how it is, right? But they haven't taken any massive step. I mean, yeah, they made it to the postseason this year and they won the division, but what did they do once they got there? So I think that everybody's kind of looking and waiting and saying, who's going to be the team that's going to go and take that extended step forward to do something a true contender in the postseason? The Wolves last year made it to the postseason. You had Patrick Beverley getting on top of tables and taking off his shirt and crying and all this stuff because he got the play-in win. It's like, calm down a minute, my man.
I loved that, though. I will say he was getting a lot of flack for that.
I can't stand Patrick Beverley.
Oh. Really?
Oh, my gosh.
I feel like this is personal.
It sounds personal. I was here for it, but
I am not a fan of Patrick. I'm not trying to throw any shade on him helping the organization last year as a veteran, but not a fan. When people brought up this year, they were like, "Oh, bring him back." No, I'm good.
Hey, I thought Charles
he
Barkley was
doesn't like
spot on
Patrick
with
Beverley.
his assessment of that. Like, you didn't win anything. Like, I mean,
he wasn't wrong, but I still loved the energy.
Oh, he brought great energy last year. Yeah, there's no question. Who's your favorite Wolves player?
I love Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay.
I like Ant.
Of course
Yeah,
you do.
I'm a fan of the Ant-Man.
I mean, how could you not be a fan of him, though? Like,
I like the swag. I like the way
like
he carries
Kirill.
himself.
I mean, he's more vocal than Kirill, but just he
the least.
backs it up.
Yeah.
Like, talks the talk, walks the walk.
I saw the Adam Sandler movie, and I thought he was a fantastic actor in that movie, so I really enjoyed
He was
that.
in a movie?
Yeah, he was in the one with Garnett and Adam Sandler. I forget what it's called.
He's
Very good
doing
movie.
Oh, wait, was
lately.
Garnett in that movie? I think those are two
Yes.
different movies.
Are they two different movies?
Yeah, they're two different movies. I'm pretty sure.
Sure?
You're talking about the one with KG and Adam Sandler. That was the one about the
What's the one with Ant?
that was about the diamonds and something about.
Yes,
The
you're
other
right.
one with Ant was about
The one dude that
was the
came
one
in-
with Juancho Hernan Gomez. Yeah, it's two different movies. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
And
the
I
one
didn't
I
see
like.
either of them.
Oh, that second one you mentioned, that was the one I like. Fantastic movie, and Ant actually did.
They say he was
played it.
awesome.
He was so
but,
good.
But that's what makes him so special is that his personality is infectious and he just gets it.
Yeah, right. Lake, where can people listen to you? Where can people find you?
Yeah.
When are you coming to visit me at XL Energy Center? Maybe I'll get your girl Linda Cohen there this time around.
I
Hey,
know.
if you're
Hold
coming
on.
next, say hi to me,
Hold
too.
on. All right. So real quick. WCCO Radio, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. I also do Twins post game, and I also do Timberwolves post game. Timberwolves tonight. But before I exit the building, come on now, Linda Cohn. Like you got to tell the. Do I need to tell the story? Like
you got to tell.
what-
I mean, you start. I tried to set him up with Linda Cohen.
What?
I did.
Linda Cohn is my hockey wife.
Yes.
Okay.
Like I love Elko. Like I've been a fan for years, and I did meet her, and I met her. We took a picture. I think I've shown you the picture
You
before.
showed me the picture,
It was
yep.
outside of Kauffman Stadium.
Okay.
2015. It was the year that the Royals won the World Series, and so she was covering. ESPN. Everybody's there covering the World Series, and so I met her. Got a chance to chat with her for a little bit. But yeah, no, I've had like a massive crush on Linda Cohn for I don't know. 20 years.
Yeah,
I'm
he told,
here for it.
He told me about it, and so then we had Linda on the podcast, and so I said, "Hey, the Rangers, the Wild, they're kicking off the season this year," and she's like, "I might have to make that happen." I was like,
I
"And when you
know.
do, I have a friend named Henry Lake, and he would love to meet you." And so she said, "Hey, Henry, live to him on that podcast."
Ooh.
Yeah,
I
we'll
need
make it
Jesse to
happen.
start hooking
Wait, you didn't
me
tell
up
me
like
that.
this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not
Well,
getting
she's
that
hiding
kind of
secrets.
treatment.
I assumed you listened to every single episode of the Bard on Beauties podcast, which can be streamed and found each and every Monday. Again, this week we had Lou Nanny on talking all things hockey. Next week we got Philip Gustafson of the Minnesota Wild talking about his stellar season. Also, some pretty interesting notes about Minnesota as it will be. Lake, thank you so much. I'm happy you made it to St. Paul before your Minneapolis excursion. Hopefully we see you back at the X
Thank you
very soon.
both for having me. I appreciate being a part of this, and now I'm officially a Butte.
You are.
An official Butte. You guys, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, more about the Minnesota hockey model. Stay tuned.